In a world where time is but a river, flowing endlessly through the ages, one man dares to change his course. Professor Adrian, a genius scientist, spent his entire life trying to create a time machine. In a dark basement filled with sophisticated equipment, he worked tirelessly, surrounded by old books and yellowed blueprints. After years of failed attempts, he finally succeeded, and the time machine ignited with a roar that filled the room. Adrian decided to take his first trip back in time, to an era known only from historical records. As he pulled the lever, the room suddenly changed. The walls vibrated, and a blinding blue light enveloped the entire space. In the blink of an eye, he found himself standing in the middle of a magnificent ancient city, with towering temples and statues of gods gleaming in the sunlight. As Adrian explores the ancient city, he begins to realize that time here is not moving as it normally would. Every step he takes him deeper into the past or the future. One moment, he is in the middle of an epic battle between ancient forces, and the next, he sees the future of the city destroyed and covered in sand. As Adrian tried to understand what was happening, he suddenly felt a strong pull from the time machine. He was pulled back to his basement with great force, falling to the floor with a gasp. The time machine was still spinning, but something was wrong. The indicators showed that he had traveled much longer than planned. Realizing that something is terribly wrong, Adrian checks the time machine and finds that he has opened a rift between dimensions. Now, worlds from different times and spaces are starting to overlap, creating unfathomable chaos. He must fix the time machine before things get out of control, but time is running out. While in another room his surroundings were getting more unstable, Adrian felt the presence of another world. Faint shadows of alien creatures and mysterious figures began to appear in the opened dimensional gap. They looked confused, as if lost between time and space. Adrian realized that this gap not only threatened him, but also creatures from another world that could be dangerous. Adrian tries desperately to close the rift, but the time machine is running out of energy. He knows that the only way to stop this chaos is to sacrifice the time machine, destroying it and closing the rift once and for all. Reluctantly, Adrian enters the code to reveal himself into the time machine's control panel. Time seems to slow down as he presses the final button. As the final button was pressed, the time machine exploded in a blinding flash of light. The explosion closed the dimensional rift, restoring stability to space and time. Adrian was thrown against the wall, sprawled and unconscious on the floor. The basement was now quiet and dark, with only the remains of the destroyed time machine scattered around him. After some time, Adrian slowly woke up. He felt pain all over his body, but was relieved that the dimensional gap had closed. However, the room around him was no longer the same. Time around him had changed. Objects in the room began to age hundreds of years in a matter of seconds, rusting and crumbling to dust. Adrian realized that he had changed the course of time itself and was now trapped in a broken time. Adrian realizes that the only way out of this situation is to find an alternative energy source for the destroyed time machine. In the destroyed room, he finds a small device that appears to be technology from the future, a crystal that still glows faintly. With new hope, Adrian tries to attach the crystal to the remains of the time machine, hoping to restore its functionality even if only for a moment. The crystal begins to emit enough energy to reactivate the time machine, but Adrian realizes that he only has one chance to jump back in time. If he fails, he will be trapped in the unknown forever. Carefully, Adrian sets the time coordinates in the machine, feeling the rumbling beneath his feet as it begins to work. However, as he prepares to make the time jump, a voice from the future begins to echo through the room, as if calling for him to stay. With strong determination, Adrian decided to ignore the mysterious voice and stay focused on his goal. He pressed the time jump button, and in an instant, a blinding light filled the room. Adrian felt his body being pulled by a great force, as if his entire being was being broken down into tiny particles that were hurtling through time. When the light subsided, Adrian opened his eyes and found himself back in the present. But with a major change, he was in a world that was similar, but not exactly the same as the one he was familiar with. Adrian is now trapped in a world that is not his own, with challenges he never imagined before. The journey he began in the hope of returning to the present has taken him to a much more complex place. But this is not the end of his story. Every step in this new world is an opportunity to discover greater secrets, to reveal what is hidden behind time and space. If you want to continue following Adrian's adventures and exploring other mysterious worlds, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Activate the notification bell so you don't miss other interesting stories. Give a like and share this video if you like it, and write in the comments column what you think will happen next. See you in the next video.